while we're making our pear butter, I had all the pear cores left over, and I always like to save everything and use it the best way I can and teach my students something new about cooking. So I figured, why not? Let's make some pear vinegar. So we're gonna learn about the fermentation process, and I saved all my pear cores, and what I have over here is just a spaghetti jar, and I'm boiling it to sanitize it. I already washed and cleaned it, and we're putting it in boiling water for 10 minutes. It's been in there for quite a while, so some of the water's disappeared, but we want to boil it 10 minutes to sterilize it, and then that way we have a nice clean bottle and we can make our vinegar.
Hello friends, I appreciate you being here. Please watch the video to the end so you can see the whole recipe, and help me out. Would you please click like and subscribe so I can keep bringing you more recipes.
So I just finished making our pear butter. I'm now in the middle of making pear sauce, and I've got a whole bunch of peelings and our cores. So I'm gonna put this into our jar. This was sterilized. And now we're gonna also add all of these peelings in, get everything packed in there, and then we're gonna top it off with water and sugar and a little bit of vinegar. So this is I believe a quart jar. So 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 quart of water to top it all up, and 1 tablespoon of white vinegar to help start the process. We're gonna get this all packed in there. Now I'm using a wooden spoon, but I'm just pushing this all in there. You wanna get it all compact and compressed. They actually have a wooden tool to do this if you are gonna sort of ferment more frequently. There are specialty tools to do all of this with. And it's sort of like a round pestle almost, wooden pestle, and it pushes all of the stuff down into the jar and compresses it. So I'm just gonna take a couple of minutes to get this all compressed. All right, 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. Get that in. And then I'm gonna top it off with our water that we boiled and cooled. And again, you wanna make sure you push down the fruit. You want the fruit below the top. And we're gonna cover this, there we go. All right, and this has to be breathable. I did 2 layers of these paper towels with a saran wrap. That got a little wet, but as you can see, we've got all of our fruit and water in there. And then we're gonna let this sit in a safe spot for 2 weeks, and we're gonna watch the fermentation process happen. This is 3 days later, and you can see I've got some bubbles already happening. And also this has gotten wet, so I'm gonna put fresh ones, but I think this is too full. I'm gonna get another bottle. Ooh, look at the bubbles. You know it's working. So I'm gonna get another bottle about the same size and split it and put more water in this. Here are all of our vinegars that I'm working on, and this is our pear vinegar. I started this on March 19th, and it is now April 30th. It's been over the 30 days, and I'm gonna stir it one more time and give it a smell again, and it smells like vinegar. And here are my litmus papers, so let me get those open. All right, we want between the 3 and 4 range, so let me put this in. Now that I've opened this up, I wish I had gotten one that was a little more exact, so we could measure like 3.5 or something. I'm aiming for 3.5 to 4. So let's put this in and see what we get. And this is testing the acidity of our okay, so I put this down on a piece of white paper so it's easier to see. And now this is our store-bought vinegar, which is 5% of acidity. I want to test it and make sure and see what it looks like. So here is our 5% acidity. And let's put this down next to the homemade one. Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that we've got vinegar. This looks exactly the same as the 5%. I'm not sure of the true acidity level of our pear vinegar, but it does look to be exactly the same on this litmus paper. So I am now gonna strain this, and I have coffee filters. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strain the pear through the coffee filter in a sieve to get rid of all of the food solids in there. All right, so here we go. I have our coffee filter inside the sieve, and let's just strain this out, and what we'll get is beautiful pear vinegar. So here's the jar that I had our vinegar maturing in, and I washed it with soap and water, and now I'm boiling it. I want to sanitize it because now we're going to be able to put in our vinegar. And this has been sitting here for about an hour to drain, and you can see there is our vinegar underneath. Now, this can just go in the garbage, but if you, let's say, had some chickens, you could give this to them as chicken feed or put it in your compost bin. I don't have either. One day, maybe we'll have some chickens. That would be fantastic since the price of eggs is so ridiculous. All right, so I gotta boil that bottle for a while. Now that was sterilized, we're gonna add in our vinegar, and you can see we don't really yield way too much. Now, if this is actually gonna fill it up to the lid, you wouldn't want to use a metal top on it because the metal will react with the vinegar. However, this is so far away from the top, I think it'll be okay. They do make plastic lids for the ball jars, so one of these days I'll get some plastic lids, but I do prefer to store it in glass. Now, once we get this sealed, we can age it even more and put it in a dark cupboard. Just keep it at 60 to 80 degrees, and then use it in your salad dressing or in a drink, make a shrub, or even as a hair tonic. Now, just one thing is that I'm supposed to mention to you, this is not the proper acidity for canning. That you need the commercial vinegar for, which is that 5% acidity, so do not use this if you're gonna preserve anything. It will not do the job, okay? Here is the pear vinegar. I just tasted it. It tastes like vinegar. Okay, so it tastes like a floral vinegar, and it smells beautiful. So I think we have succeeded in making pear vinegar. So I hope this inspired you to save your scraps at home and make your own pear vinegar.
Thank you so much for joining me in the kitchen. Leave me a comment and let me know how you like the recipe. For more recipe demonstrations, please click like and subscribe to Chef Victoria Loves YouTube channel and have fun in the kitchen. Thank you.